I believe if there was a single owner, we'd be hearing a different song today.
Yeah.
If there was one.
Although they get a lot of home gates, 4 home gates this year in the playoffs.
If Bill Foley was, I was going to say, yes. Yeah.
Just one other person that would be listening to it and feeling it, and that's why it's such a double-edged sword when you have Bell and Rogers again, and maybe no different than the teacher's pension, where it's like it's their investment, and right now is
4 home gates in the playoffs. Pretty good.
Is there anyone really, wondering or doing the math on the gates that you've missed the last 6 seasons in the playoffs?
But they get gates every year, Kyper, in the playoffs. You're already in the right half of the league, You get 3 a year. What have they got? 4 home gates last year. This year, I guess the pandemic.
What about
mattered.
12 gates?
Well, that'd
14 gates.
Yeah, but that's not. You don't build that into your expectations, do you?
Well, especially not if you're Leafs manager.
Did we play Dubas on changing the core yet?
Because I think this is the most out of his willingness to change that we've got out of the 35 minutes that he talked.
I don't necessarily blame him, and I would be doing the same thing. I'd be backstroking today and selling the same record I did last year.
This is the one that is the most, as to Sammy's point, in line with what I want to hear. This one is the closest to saying they would do something else. So let's play this one.
I don't view it just as a 4. I view the core of the group as much larger than that, and it's my job at the end of every year to evaluate whether we can improve the team. And if there's a way to improve the team, which involves someone who me or you or anyone would constitute as the core, it's my job to investigate that and determine whether it will make us a better team in the short run, long run, and then whether we want to do that. So that's the way that we'll handle the off season. Maybe I've felt in previous gatherings like this that I needed to be more adamant because of the way that things have gone or different circumstances around some of the players at those times. But the way that I'll approach it is we'll sit down as a management group, look at our whole entire roster, similar to the question Steve just asked, look at who's available, what can we bring in, and our whole goal is going to be to make the team better. So different may gain some applause and some accolades because it's different, but if it's not better, then we're going to have a better chance of sitting here disappointed again. So everything that we do will be geared towards improving the group, and we'll look at everything possible to do that.
And he's on the clock.
That should have been the message from everyone, the thesis statement today. He's on the clock. What do you mean?
I'm just he's got to do that this summer. Mm-hmm. He's got to find all the right pieces, and he's got 12 months to save his job.
Yeah, I think you're right there this time for sure. I don't think everyone would agree. The one thing that stood out to me there
right?
too,
I guess.
I mean, that's where we are. We knew this,
but no, we knew it all this year. We had how many times we had the goddamn conversation?
It was split. It was split. This time it's all 100%, and you could sense it in his voice. This year, it was debatable whether or not Kyle would. We've talked about this on our show all season long. Is Kyle's job on the line? Some said yes, some said no. I never got that sense.
Mm-hmm. No, I didn't either.
Right?
You know what did stand out, though, too, is him saying, I felt in the past I needed to be more adamant in his defense of the core 4 because of some of the circumstances surrounding those players, which means Marner and Matthews didn't score in that round, and they were getting crucified.
Yes.
And he felt like he needed to go out there and protect them in a big way, almost validating the way he went out there and said, these are our guys. And this year there was less of that in that one quote. Which is good. Deep breaths.
I think right now for him, for Kyle, like you're covered under the 4. Was it perfect? No. Did Matthews underdeliver Saturday night in Game 7? Yes. He didn't have a Connor McDavid moment.
He was fine. Yeah.
He didn't. No, he was not fine.
It wasn't bad.
It wasn't good enough. I'm not saying it was bad.
Right.
I'm just saying it wasn't nearly good enough.
Okay.
Connor had his moment in Game 7. Gaudreau had his moment. Panarin had his moment.
Connor had 14 points against Philip Deneau and Anze Kopitar. Remember Philip Deneau?
So it wasn't
The unbeatable Philip
it was not perfect, but Kyle got away with the core four being protected. So the thing that he got patted on the back the most this year, the Buntings, the Camps, the Kashas, the Engvalls, the McKayev, to me, they're the ones that let him down. They crushed him down the stretch. They were nowhere to be found.
No Bunting, no Kasha, no
Right.
Mikheyev, no Engvall, no fourth line, essentially.
So now he's got to go out there and do it again.
Yeah.
Right? So I look at our 90.
Camp was great.
I look at our 94 team, and we're leading the league in points. And Keenan screaming to Neil Smith, we're going to lose in the first round. And we got one of the younger, we got a Willie Nylander on our team. Tony Amonte. Remember him?
Mm-hmm, of course.
35, 40 goal scorer.
It's the best.
Great player.
Yeah.
Willie Nylander like. And Keenan's like, we'll never win with that guy. And you know what he does? He turns a top 4, 5, 6 player into 2 third liners in Noonan and Mateau.
They became relevant.
And for me, Saturday night, that was missing a Noonan and a Mateau.
A Nick Paul, you mean?
And today's generation, a Nick Paul.
Right.
So that's the pressure on Kyle now, is he's got to go out there and he's got to find another Bunting who may have about 30 more pounds on him.
Bunting, I have high hopes for him next year. Right? I mean, a second-year guy,
put him
in theory.
But put him in a third role. He can't play on a top line. Can't play with Matthews and
how many games do you
Marner
think he plays with Matthews
in
and
the
Marner
Stanley
next year?
Cup playoffs? I'm talking about beating a team like Tampa Bay.
So you are drawing the conclusion from the injured Bunting that came back that he can't be in that spot in the postseason?
No, can't drive. Can't open up lanes.
Mm-hmm.
Not heavy enough to open up lanes. No one opened up lanes. Mikheyev didn't open up lanes. Engvall didn't open up lanes. No, there was no drive out of any of them when you needed it the most. They let you down.